Hello and welcome to Divinely Empowered with Antonia. Today we have Fiona Radman, who is a color specialist. She does intuition with color using color mirrors. So welcome, Fiona.
Thank you very much, Antonia. Pleasure to be with you.
So Fiona, I've known Fiona for a while from the Mind, Body, Spirit circuit. And actually we did record this interview, which I promptly lost. So I'm hoping we come up with some very lovely, enlightening things, and even better than the previous one, which will never see the light of day. I deleted it. Anyway, but I like Fiona, so it's a pleasure to have you back, sweetie pie. Okay, cool. So tell us about the magic bottles. Who are you and what do you have? And what are you going to
do? Well, first of all, Antonia, I just wanted to point out that you've chosen to wear purple today. Yep. And I chose to wear red today. So we've got the base chakra and the crown chakra. And when purple and red come together, you have magenta, which is the color of the divine.
Beautiful.
So, and that's really, really gorgeous for today. So I work with teaching intuition and teaching color. Okay. And it's wonderful, wonderful thing to be able to put like these two modalities together. And as you know, all of this work is about inspiring people, empowering people, and supporting people just to bring their potential out and so forth. I've been teaching intuition for, 8 years or more, 8 or 10 years, something like this. And I do have a 10-day or 10-unit course on my website, which is £32. So people who can't get to London, where I'm based, they can go online and buy that. Okay. And I actually had a client a couple of weeks ago who I haven't seen for a year. And I saw her at one of the shows and she came back and she said, Fiona, I've done your course. And I said, has it helped? Oh, she said, I had such fun. And she enjoyed it. She found it lively. I've got a workbook you can work through. And I encourage people to do a bit of drawing and painting and so forth and journaling. And, not everybody finishes courses. People
tell us more about what you're actually, but let's I think we're putting the cart before the horse with this. Let's learn a bit more about what you do and show us about the bottles behind, and yes, tell us all about what you actually do and what the modality is all about, please.
Okay, so what I do with modality, color mirrors, is about helping people to when people come to my stand, I'll just say which colors appeal to you most, which is your favorite bottle. So for example, last year, a huge number of people, particularly women, chose this bottle. Okay. And then they'll hold it. And sometimes people start crying because this is also an energy system as well as a color system. Okay. So there's a release that they need to go through. And I'll ask, what kind of reading would you like? Would you like to have past, present, and future? Would you like a life path reading? Would you like a chakra reading? Would you like... there's a general readings about life, love, work, jobs, and so forth. Recently, most people have been asking for life path readings, which is based on your date of birth. Okay, so those colors are actually set. And I'll look at the date of birth. We'll work out the numerology. And because color mirrors works, all the bottles are numbered, works with numerology, I'll set out the bottles that are people's soul colors. Okay, and then we'll go through this and we'll discuss it. We'll look at what life path number they are and what is their soul and purpose in this lifetime. But it's really nice for people just to have the colors laid out in front of them.
Right.
Okay, so it's done on numerology, but people see the colors of their soul. And that is a really, really lovely experience. Okay, so let's have a look. So that was from the most thing. Now, I came back to color mirrors a few years ago. I trained in it in 2015. And then in meditation, the message came through, Fiona, can you go back to color mirrors and use it professionally? And at first I was saying, no, I won't do that. And then the second time the message came through and I'm a bit busy. Third time the message came through and I thought, okay, I'm going to have to pay attention to this.
I
Oh,
haven't
goodness.
bought
You know what
three.
it's like? The third time you get a message, you think, okay, this is serious. This is serious.
Yeah, I've stopped waiting for 3 times, but I used to do that. I used to have a 3 time, and now I just do as I'm bloody told. Yes, sir, to the divine all the time.
Okay, so I realize that's serious. So I've come back to this color system, and what I see now is that it's not just that I have a background. I went to art school. I was a knitwear designer. My mother was an embroiderer. We had colors, fabric, sequins all around the house all my childhood. So, you know, this is what I grew up with. So it's very beautiful for me to come back to color. But what I've really come to understand that color is also a language of the soul. Light is a language of the soul. And through this system, people come to the stand, they choose colors. They're choosing the colors that they intuitively know they need now. So the soul colors are one thing because those are set, but all the other readings, the client themselves chooses the bottles, chooses the colors, and then we'll look at, there are two things. One is, what are the challenges that the color is mirroring back to you? What are the obstacles? What are the blocks? What's going on? Okay, that's one aspect of it. And the other aspect, color also reminds the client, here are your gifts. Here is your potential. Here is your light. Here is what you've come to do. This is what you bring to this planet. This is what your life is about. This is what you're here for. It's also reflecting back people's light to themselves.
Let's do an example and give people, you know, so they understand what it is. Let's go through some of the process just to demonstrate, shall we?
Okay, so let me just mention, I'm just going to go back to this bottle, C5, because this is chosen a very great deal. And it's interesting that it's mostly women who come and choose this bottle. And they say, well, I don't know why I'm choosing this bottle, but I really, really love it. Holding it, you know, there's something going on here. What I found in particular with this bottle, this is the throat chakra.
It's quite funny. I like, if you look at the colours on my book, it's not hugely distant.
Hey, look, there you are. That's incredible. Okay, so
well, if I have to do that, I suppose I need to spin it upside down.
So this is also, hold on.
There you go. That's the one.
This is the heart chakra, which is the green going up to blue. So your book, cover of your book is the heart chakra.
Oh.
Because
tell me more about the cover of my book. That's interesting.
Oh God, that's absolutely gorgeous. So most frequently, what I found with this particular bottle is that women have not been able to speak their truth. Okay, they cannot speak throat chakra. They cannot speak what's authentically true for them. They're holding their voices back. And people actually know a lot of what's going on. But I find when they come for reading, it's because they're ready to do life differently. They're ready for a shift. They're ready to go forward. Even if they're not consciously aware of it, it's like subconsciously the higher self gets hold of somebody and says, come and do a reading. It's time to move on. Okay, let's do this. So that was one of the most picked bottles. And then the royal blue indigo is going up to the third eye. And the top fraction is generally what's conscious with people, and the bottom fraction is generally unconscious. So we're covering chakras as well as where people are. So also, people do have a very good intuitive sense of what their life is about and what's going on. People do have a feeling about what's what, but they don't trust it. So what I found in teaching intuition, for example, it's the trust issue that is so big. They hear a message in any which way it comes, but they don't act on it because they don't trust it. They have not learned to trust it. Okay. And then, of course, the blue in the throat is also big time about trust. Trust and faith. Do I trust myself? Do I trust life? Do I trust God? Do I trust, everything? It's so that's been a really big one.
Tell me about my book cover then.
I would say because it's going from green up to the blue, what I'm feeling is you're moving people from their hearts in being able to voice, this is who I am, this is what I can do in life. This is your the throat is like a bottleneck.
Mm.
You know, you've got all the thoughts that people can have. This, you know, this is what's going on. This is how I express my energy in life. But it gets blocked here. So it's the love from the heart and desire about how I'm going to live my life and how I'm going to be authentic and true in my life, and that gets stuck. Okay, so my sense is you're teaching the energy to people so that they can be absolutely more authentically who they are and unblock the throat and just
Interesting.
unblock their access to a deeper life, a deeper
There
relationship
is
with
a
yourself.
chapter which is called Gut Health, Happiness, Authenticity and Truth.
Wow, there you
Authenticity
go.
and truth is like, yeah, a part of it. Authenticity and truth.
Perfect. There you go. Throat chakra. Yay.
I think people aren't
Everything.
very authentic or truthful, and I think that it causes them to be sick, actually. Because, you know, as far as I'm concerned, diseases are blocked emotions and us getting fixated and stuck thinking about some awful thing that happened, and then not speaking the truth and changing circumstances and being authentic and really honoring themselves and having good boundaries. There's lots of boundaries in this book as well. So, yeah, if you don't tell the truth, you're going to end up sick. So it's really important.
Yeah, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And the second part of this system, the second part of this system, we have a whole set. So the bottles here, we have uh, we have the wisdom bottles, we have the chakra set, we have the Gaia bottles from Gaia consciousness, and those are the oils. And then we have these lovely spritzers. Would you like to try this? This is Pink Angel.
Yes, try
Yep.
it.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll send the energy. There we go. Okay, I'm sending Pink Angel to you now.
Yep.
I can feel my hands tingling. Okay, so did you get a feeling from that or a sense?
Yeah, I can feel it. I can feel just it's sort of like a whoosh of energy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the Pink Angel is love and partnerships. You know, romance, family, relationships. And then, so we have, so within the essences, we have 53 spritzers, and we have angels, archangels, dragons, elements, and various other bottles, which are just a whole part, archangels, all part of the system. So the spritzers tend to be more for support.
So
Okay.
they also have smells to them, don't they? They're sort of
Yes.
perfumes, aren't
Yeah.
they?
Everything is completely natural, but the spritzers, everything contains essential oils, but the spritzers in particular contain essential.
But you don't open the other. But that's just for your analysis, isn't it? The color mirrors. That's just to analyze things. Or do people take those bottles home as well? Or
Yes.
do they smell of anything? And they smell of anything, or how does that all work?
These do. But nowadays they have caps on. Not this one, but most of them have caps on. So just to stop them leaking in transit. But what happens is somebody says, okay, I'm ready to open my heart. I'm going to work with this bottle. And then I give people guidelines for like 2 to 3 weeks self-therapy at home. And people, I find pretty much everybody's happy to take themselves through a process at home. Okay. The main thing is to get this on your skin. Okay. Because color gives the information. So I've worked with the clients. We've looked at what's going on, whatever the colors are that they've chosen and they're working with. They've decided they want to work with the heart bottle. This is the heart chakra bottle. And the fastest way to shift your vibration energetically is to put it in the bath. Okay. So there are essential oils in, so that when you pour it in the bath, maybe a third, maybe a half, but not too much for the first couple of hours. And then it just, the essential oils, the smell just helps to relax you. What I'm sure you know, because you do energy work, is when you're doing anything different, like say, oh, I'm going to go for a new job, I'm going to divorce my spouse, I'm going to move country, and the body goes, I'm not happy. The body knows life and death. Yeah, so it says, don't want to do that. No.
Scary, yeah.
Oh, panic stations, trauma, etc. So, but you put this lovely oils into the bath, oil and water with natural vegetable dyes, with essential oils, and you just relax. And then the body goes, it's okay. Depending on, the energy of the bottle you've chosen. Have you chosen the heart? Have you chosen the throat? I mean, any one of the bottles which the client has intuitively chosen will be just the right one to go, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay, what demonstration can we do then?
Well, I think we've done the pink angel. What we could do is contrast that with see how you feel about red angel, and then we could do Metatron. Okay, so let's do Metatron, because this is the combination of the two colors we're wearing, and Metatron, of course, is the head honcho of the archangels. So let's do Metatron. See how you feel about this. Okay, I'm sending the energy now. Let's see how that contrasts with Pink Angel. What was the difference?
It's more ballsy.
Yeah, I mean, it's like,
it's got some oomph to it, and hopefully the people at home should be able to feel this as well, even if they're watching it on video. It should transfer. Would you think? I would think it would.
I would have thought so. I mean, there's always a sense of these things, but magenta is definitely the color of the divine.
I can feel that more in my heart. That's gone into my heart space and gone as well. Yeah, that's got more oomph to it. I'm a bit with energy stuff. I like things which are really hard hitting. So the very soft and delicate things, I'm not a bit of that. I'm just not really that delicate. I like really ballsy, intense things, because I find the other stuff just.
Okay, so you'd rather
I like to feel things.
Pink Angel.
What?
You'd rather go for Metatron than Pink Angel.
Yeah, much more. I just want something with some oomph to it. Otherwise, I don't know. Some things can be a bit too light for my system, because I'm used to working at such like a high octane level with the energy work that I do. So everything else is a bit like what? I can't even notice it. I want some ballsy stuff.
Yeah. Anyway.
Some people like it to be softer than me.
Anyway. So, I wondered if we could just talk about color itself for a minute, because
yes, let's do that.
This is quite an interesting thing, because literally the colors that you and I have chosen today are just so perfect. So perfect. I had no idea what color you were going to choose.
Well, I'm glad it was something vibrant, because, if you're the color person and you're wearing something black or boring, you do feel like, oh, maybe I should have made a bit more of an effort today.
Okay, but I do quite a lot of talks on color and presentations, and it's just, it's a fun subject to discuss, because everybody knows color.
Sure.
It's a universal language, and it's one of the ways that we navigate the world. And also, it's beauty, it's art, it's nature. Can you imagine never having cut flowers in the house ever again? It would be like, oh no, but I need the colors. I
have them delivered every 2 weeks. I always have cut flowers in the house, and they last that time. I've always got flowers.
And how do you choose the colors?
I have them delivered, and I have a random box delivered every fortnight. So that works really well for me, and they last that long as well. You cut them down after a week, and then and then they last for 2 weeks, and then so I've always got cut flowers. It's really nice. I always like to have a vase of cut flowers. Otherwise, I don't know, it's in my kitchen, and it's something that I always do. So I miss them not having flowers.
Yeah. And it's just I mean, there's just the whole thing around that color, and just coming into that room and seeing the color of the flowers every day. Most people, I mean, we're all cheered up, aren't we, by color?
Yeah, it is. And I know that some colors are quite boring and depressing. Like if you're in a concrete jungle or something, you really do feel, if it's just concrete walls and everything's gray, it's depressive. It really is. does brighten mood significantly. And if you are in a bad mood, I do recommend people put a bright color on, because it does brighten you up.
Yeah, totally and utterly. And I just wanted to, you know, color is like amazing. We have the language and the understanding and the moods around it. Like, you know, blue with cold. I'm blue with cold. I'm green with envy.
Or when people see red, but actually I've looked into people seeing red, and there are people who actually, when they get angry, have a red mist that actually comes over them. They actually do physically see red, which is really interesting, because I think that sort of hellish scenes and things like that with the red, which is just quite, I found that quite strange. But they do actually have a red haze when they get angry.
Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. Wow. Do you actually see that?
I've had people say it to me when they see red. You know, the red comes in and comes over people, and they actually physically, everything turns like there's a filter of red in front of their eyes.
Yeah.
So they do see red.
That's amazing.
Mm.
But and again, with all of our chakras being colored, this is also another fascinating aspect of, if somebody chooses, I mean, you know, because I've got the chakra system here, so we'll just, you know, go back to the throat is blue. I'm blue with cold. You know, I'm frozen. I can't express myself, you know, because it's cold and it's frozen. So there's and you know, the other thing I was reading the other day is that rowdy children, if they're upset for any reason, or, you know, whether they're angry or something like that, some places have a blue painted room. And
green is the best one. Green slightly better than that. They have green rooms. What they always say in TV and things like that is they have a green room because green is the most relaxing color. The grass and the trees. Blue is the second most relaxing color, but they have them like, green rooms and blue rooms to get people to calm down. They do it in prisons, I believe, in some rooms as well, and they certainly do it backstage before you go on air to make people feel at ease, because that makes people less anxious. But it's because it's being in nature. Greens and blues remind people of nature, and obviously your anxiety lessens when you're in the sea or in the forest. Okay.
Yeah. And green is the heart chakra.
Yeah. Of course.
One thing, since we're on this topic, there's an interesting thing here. So because our frequencies are gradually being upgraded because of moving into the age of Aquarius, what's interesting with the chakra system we have is that C4 is the traditional chakra color, so that the base of this is green. However, the higher frequency color, let's see if you can see here, pink and lilac. So we're moving from traditional green into, let's use the phrase green with envy. Okay, so we're moving out of that into the pink of unconditional love. And the purple.
In which chakra is that? In your throat chakra
heart.
Again, or somewhere else?
In the heart. This is the heart chakra. Okay. So just taking, for example, green with envy, because that's the heart. We're moving out of that kind of negative into the pink of unconditional love, and the purple of spirit. My spirit lives in my heart, is the voice of my intuition, and informs my life. And when I come from my heart and I come from love, my life is so perfectly directed. Everything is, you know, going in the right direction. So I've got the traditional, I've got the bottles of the traditional chakra colors, and then we've got all the higher frequency ones. Okay, so again, whether people choose the traditional colors or the higher frequency colors also indicates what's going on with them. Okay.
What's your favorite?
Well, I think with the chakra colors, I think.
What's your favorite bottle, all in, you know, your overall, or is that too difficult a question?
Do you know, it is too difficult because I go through periods of working with different. Let's see, what have I got here? Okay, so I just give you 2 examples. So when I came back to the system, when Spirit guided me back a couple of years ago. I thought,
Mm.
okay, I'm going to do the personal work on this. This is actually coral over coral.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Okay, it's got a little bit of sparkle in the top, which you can't quite see. If you can see, there's a little bit of sparkle in the top, but this is coral over coral. And I was just mesmerized by this bottle. And I thought, I don't know what's going on here. I just got to have that. And I worked with several of these bottles over several months. And I didn't know why. I was just doing what needed to be done, following my intuition. Here is the bottle I need. Now, this bottle, G25, is called Integration. Okay. And this is about integrating mind, body, spirit, and soul.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I write about in the Energy Healers book is that I've never really quite got on with being in a physical body. You know, I just don't feel comfortable. You know, it's sort of like, oh, I don't like a body. It doesn't do what I want. All of that horrible stuff. But when I started bathing in this, it's like, it's okay. I can do this. It's okay. I can do this. It was like a whole settling down as, no, it's okay. The color coral is pink and yellow.
Mm-hmm.
And yellow is the color of joy and pink is unconditional love.
That's nice.
And when you combine those two, coral is actually self-acceptance and self-love. Okay.
Beautiful.
And I've noticed other women choosing this bottle and saying, I don't know why I just really want this bottle.
Mm.
And then, of course, it turns out they've got body issues, you know?
Right.
So I think, I know something about that.
I think most women have got body issues.
Yes, but for all different reasons. Yeah, but for all different reasons.
Oh, yeah.
For all different reasons. And
marketing campaigns largely making us adequate.
Yeah, I know. But two other things happened. One is that I lost weight without even trying. I was bathing in this bottle. I didn't even think about it. I wasn't on a diet. I just lost weight. Okay. And I'm still under that bar a couple of years later, which is, for me, really unusual because I struggle with, you know, food and nutrition stuff as well. And the second thing was that summer, I went out and bought 5 dresses. And I do not do dresses. I'm a separates girl. And it was like, oh, this is so cool.
So you just sort of felt more comfortable in your own skin, as it were.
Yeah. Yeah, everything, life started changing. And I've still got the dresses. I've been wearing them over this summer. It's like, oh my God, I could do dresses. You know, it's like, this is different. This is different.
Isn't it? So my favorite color is gold. What does that mean?
Now, hold on a minute. I remember last time we did this, you had a gold kitchen.
I have a gold everything. I am golding my entire life. Yes, I have a gold kitchen. I have gold pretty much everywhere. I put gold things around my house. There's a lot of gold in my life. Yes.
Okay.
As much gold as possible. I've literally become obsessed with gold.
Okay, so we've got gold and we've got pale gold. Okay, so we're now going into the 8-week program, the Golden Keys to Ascension. Okay, which is all about gold. Okay, so this is actually the last bottle, which is solid gold and magenta. Okay. So solid gold is wisdom. It's the alchemist, authentic power, abundance, trust, I am, valuing yourself, and being prophetic. Okay, now
I'm done with all of that.
The central bottle in the system, this is pale gold. Look, if I put it over on that side, this is here we go, pale gold G12. This is I am. Pale gold over pale gold. And it's about, when you go through this course, it's about just coming to an acceptance. I am that. I am authentic wisdom. I am part of the new birth. I am. It's about really taking it into yourself and into your body. You know, so your body doesn't go, Antonia's going to do something different. Help!
Always, you can rely on me for that.
So, but this is your I amness. Okay, pale gold over pale gold. And it's just coming into that acceptance. I am that.
I am that. So what does a typical session with you look like then?
Okay, so it depends what kind of reading people want. The life path reading with the colors of the soul, from the date of birth and from their name, okay, the regular name that you would use, is a big session. Okay, it's going to be an hour and a half. I have to prep for it. I write a little report afterwards. I'll spend an hour and a half with the client. It can either be online or in person, and I'm Southwest London, so people do come to me, and we can just sit down and really, really go for this. And totally looking around life path, purpose, what all the colors mean, and what the challenges are. What's going to get, what's getting in your way? So what is this current, what is the biggest challenge of this life? So that's sort of kind of one of the big ones, so to speak. Then the rest of the readings can be either half an hour or an hour. Again, they can be online or in person, as people wish. People would generally come for an hour. They wouldn't come for a half hour. But the readings, I do quite a lot of different shows. I've met you at Mind, Body, Spirit, Mind, Body, Soul, and various other shows around the South. And those readings are half an hour. So for a half hour reading, it's, well, what would you like to look at? We can look at past, present, and future. We can look at where you are now, where you'd like to be, and what the bridge bottle is, how you're going to get there. We can do a general reading about romantic life, work, home, family, a general reading. We could also do a chakra reading. Would you like to revitalize one or more of your chakras? What's the block that's going on there? So there's actually a choice of the different kinds of readings that you can have. Yeah.
Lovely. So what sort of results do people get with your bottles?
It's really variable, because what I found is people have to be ready to hear the information. What mostly happens in the vast majority of readings is that people said, that's interesting. I had a little sense of that, but now I'm going to do something different. And they'll buy a bottle and take it home and work with it. I might give them a tool or a technique, like an affirmation, that will help, because not everybody's ready, actually physically ready to bathe in a bottle. That means they really are going to change. But if they're not quite there yet, that's absolutely fine. And I might just give them a tool or a technique that they can begin to do life differently without actually having to sit in the bath and put it on the skin. So tool and technique. The lady who, people who do my intuition work, for example, one of my students, after the course, she said, now I know what my intuition is. She actually hadn't known what her intuition was before.
Goodness, that's bizarre.
Well, people don't necessarily. People don't, because it can be, do you feel it? Do you know it? Do you sense it? Do you see pictures? But everybody gets intuition differently. When I did a talk at last year's Mind, Body, Spirit show, and I was talking about how people know things. And there was an estate agent in the audience, and he piped up, said, can I contribute? And I said, yeah, sure. He said, I was an estate agent for 25 years. And he said, people would come and sit down and say, this is the house I want. This is the garden. This is the road. This. And they knew, said, this is what we want. He said, in not one single case did anybody buy the home they said they wanted.
Really?
He said, what happened was I would show them a variety of whatever, flats or home, and they would walk into one. Oh, well, I'll just have, oh, okay, great. They would walk in and say, this is it. This is the one. They just knew. It was just like in my bones. I just know this is my home. So what I've discovered over the years is that is the number one intuitive sense that people know. I just felt it. I just sensed it. I just knew it in my bones.
Yeah, you do. I think you do. I mean, weirdly, when I bought this house, I saw the images online, and I started looking through them, and my eyes started leaking. It was really weird. Like there was just all this emotion, and I couldn't place this emotion, whether it was happiness or sadness or what it was. But I was looking at pictures on my phone, and my eyes were leaking. And I'm not much of a crier. I go and deal with my stuff. I rarely get to the stage where I need to cry because I'm actively working on myself constantly. But my eyes were leaking. Then I looked at it on a bigger screen, and then I was full on crying. And it's because I've been in this house in a past life, and lots of different things have happened here. And I hadn't looked into it. Apparently my daughter was murdered here. And then I ended up vowing to learn how to dissolve traumas. And then I ended up committing suicide in the sea. So like all of this emotion was just stuck in this house for me to come and work through. And then there were other things like if you wake up at certain times of the night, it's indicative the corresponding organs aren't working very well, and you've got emotions associated within Chinese medicine. And I kept on waking up at different times, and it was to do with not letting stuff go and grief and anger and holding on to traumas and things like that. So I came here and started waking up in the night at those specific times because all that emotion was imbued into this house. So I had to clear everything before I moved in. So I knew it, but I rung up the estate agent, and that's my house. And I hadn't viewed it or anything like that. And he was like, "Really? Are you sure? You're in London. That's in Cornwall." I went, "No, that's my house." And I knew it and intuitively. But from looking at a picture of it on my phone, the first picture, I was drawn into it and knew it. And I just decided to do it. But I'm very intuitive, and I'll just go and be brave. I think people have a problem with bravery. You know, you might know that it's the house for you, or you might know it's the right move for you, but it's blooming well scary when you're moving a long way, or you're changing everything, or leaving a relationship, or leaving a job, or changing things in a dramatic way. It's very difficult to find the bravery. What would you recommend for bravery? Do you find that a lot?
Well, courage comes from the heart. Courage comes from the heart. And this is the classic of stepping outside your comfort zone. You know, it's a classic, and there are many tools that you can do for that. As you know, it's the color, it can be, gosh, you know, coaching, it can be all sorts of things. There are many different ways, and again, we come back to trust and faith in life. You know,
Yeah.
do you trust yourself? Do you trust life?
That.
You know,
Trust God.
yeah, but what I've also found from teaching intuition is that once people say, "Oh, what the hell, I'm just going to do it," you know, just like forget this, whatever reason, however, you know, they do it, I'm just going to do it. And once they've taken that first step, they're off and away. You know, it's like so many other things. You take one step. It's I mean, it's just that again, I think I have to come back to the body. Once you say to the body, it's okay, we'll be okay to do this. I'm going to move house, and you know, say someone else moves to Cornwall and everything goes fine. That was okay. I can move now. You know, it was okay.
So you've contributed into 2 books, The Pearls of Wisdom and Energies Healers Oracle. Can you speak on those, please?
Yeah, so the 11 Pearls, I'm going to try and get this on the right side. 11 Pearls of Wisdom here is a colour mirrors book.
Right.
And 11 of us had contributed through 11 different colours. And the idea that this is a book of inspiring stories, okay? Because everybody's talking about what was the grit, what was their challenge that then turned into the pearl for them.
Right.
Okay, so all different stories of grief and family problems and nearly committing suicide and all sorts of things, you know, people have written, and each of us has fallen into a colour.
Right.
And it's interesting that blue happens to be the color that we've been talking about a lot here, because I fell into the color of the blue pearl. Let's just find the blue pearl. Here we go. So here's the blue pearl here. Oops, that one there.
Beautiful.
Yeah, the blue pearl, because, and that's the beginning of my chapter. Oh, there we go. Are you listening? Because I was born partly deaf, which is part of the throat chakra. So part of my journey.
Deafness is to do with the throat chakra, is it?
Yes. Hearing and listening and jaw and throat is throat chakra. Yeah. So part of my issue was I just switched off when I was a child because I couldn't hear. And therefore conversations and things were boring for me. So I just switched off. And of course that became an issue later on. And that's what I'm writing about, just not being able to hear. And that was so the whole issue about hearing, listening, and how it affected my life. So I'm just writing about that as part of my journey.
And your other book?
Yeah, and the other book is the Energy Healers Oracle. So this is also an energy book. And these are another compilation book with 20 authors who are either writing again about their personal journey, or they're writing about their own energy techniques, their own energy systems. So it could be somebody's writing about their own version of Reiki, a couple of different Reikis, celestial healing, all sorts of things, human design, all sorts of things. I've written about color therapy.
Oops. Surprise!
Yeah. And actually, I've written about my journey with coral.
You love a bit of coral. I know you love a bit of coral.
Well, and the interesting thing is, the interesting thing is that if you look at my my website, my business card, I had a logo designed a few years ago, and I just asked the young man at the design agency to do a few examples and see what he came up with. And he came up with coral. And this was before I came back to color mirrors. I didn't suggest the color. He just said, do you like this? And it was coral. And I said, yeah, that looks really nice. I'll go with that. So, yeah, really nice.
And you've got some courses coming up, don't you? You've got a mini one in November. Tell us about that.
Okay, so I'm doing a half-day taster workshop on the Saturday, the 25th of November, local to me, in Fulham, Southwest 6, near Fulham Broadway Tube. This is called the Intuitive Wisdom of the Heart. Okay, and I'm just taking a part of my program of intuition teaching. And the heart is such a beautiful place to start. And courage will come into it. We'll be discussing courage and trust and faith and so forth. But I'll have the whole of the color mirror system behind me. And I will be using it in various different ways. We'll have the angels, we'll have the dragons, we'll have, all the different parts of the system, both for support, but also for inspiration. Because when people are blocked in their hearts, I can ask the students, just choose a bottle. Don't worry about which color it is, just choose a bottle and we'll see what's blocking you. Okay, so there's a way of combining the color modality with intuition training. And it's not just that it's informative, but, it's also just fun. Color is fun. And yes, we're dealing with shadow stuff. We're dealing with why am I not integrated? But we're just dealing with a whole soul journey. Why can't we have a lot of fun on the way? We're dealing with all the big stuff, but let's have some fun. Let's enjoy it. Let's celebrate who we are and celebrate our journey. So that's a half-day taster. And then that will lead on to a longer course, something like a weekend in January or February. Okay. And the other two courses I'm running are online. Okay, so 2 courses starting January 2024. One of them, which is an 8-week course, is the golden keys to ascension. Okay, so there are 7 golden keys, and the 8th, the last week, is about wrapping up and seeing how it went. And each key, this is basically a journey into your soul and into, how do I do ascension in a body? How do I do this? And the color gold is the color of the ascension. And it's the light, it's the vibration of light, it's the frequency that's going to help you get there. Okay, so each bottle.
Kitchens, everyone. It'll help your enlightenment.
Yeah. So, for example, G11 generosity. Each bottle has gold and another color in. Okay, so we're looking at a different topic, as it were. So, faith is the first bottle. Okay, the first bottle. So for a whole week, it'll be immersion into, what does faith mean? What is faith to me? How do I experience it? What is this about? Hopefully bathing in the bottles, but at least using the energy of the system. Meditations, there'll be harmonics, there's exercises, there's a whole big, what do I call it? There's a whole, just looking around all of this subject, and then the next week you move on. Okay. And then the last bottle in that is Satori, bliss. Okay, so finally you say, I've got heaven. I can do heaven on earth. I can do this. I'm in a body and I can do this. I mean, and the colors are gorgeous. Beautiful. And the second course I'm doing is a really, really big one. It's a good 6 months. It's 1 evening a week. This is also 1 evening a week, 8 weeks. But this one is 25 weeks.
That's
1 evening a week. Oh, it's huge. This is a training in color mirrors practitioner training. And it's big and it's gorgeous and it's beautiful. And we go through 19 colors, and then everything it takes to do readings. We do chakra balancing, because that's also an energy system. And then, gosh, there's so much, how to be a practitioner in business. And then certificate at the end, so that if you want to incorporate color mirrors in with your modalities, you can do that. So within the color mirror system, we have people who do Reiki and color mirrors, massage and color mirrors, business coaching and color mirrors, we have psychiatrists and color mirrors. It just covers a whole host of other modalities with people just putting their gifts together.
See, I think that's the best way of doing things, because there are so many people who've got, have done so much training and have so much wisdom. And if you can just combine things, and you end up with a better product ultimately, because you've just got lots of wisdom from different places joined.
Yeah, completely. But also, I have noticed that some people do it just for their own spiritual development, because you're going through the frequencies of light. And as you go through the frequencies, and we're also going through the chakras. Okay, so, and within the chakras, of course, are the really profound spiritual teachings. So red is don't hold the judgments. Sacral is forgiveness. Solar plexus is about power. So you can go through all of the spiritual principles. It's a good one.
So, okay, we're going to be closing up in just a minute. So anything else you want to say, and final words of wisdom you have for me, dear?
I would really, really, really encourage people to sense into, how do I feel today? What does my spirit really want to do today? How can I be in my heart? We have this endless struggle. We've talked a lot about heart and throat. But it's not great being in your head the whole time.
No.
So it's about intuitively saying, where's my attention? Okay, if I'm in my heart, I'm following, the intuitive voice of my spirit. I'm following my bliss, rather than, and this just has the job to do. So once you've been inspired as, I'd love to do this today, I'm going to achieve my goal by doing more of this today, then you put the mind to work and say, can you organize it? set the budget, set up the meeting, do this, do that, do the other. But this is the important bit.
Okay.
This is the important bit. So intuitively, where is my attention? Where am I living today, head or heart?
Nice. So any final words of wisdom?
Definitely. Where am I living today, head or heart?
And how do you change
very,
it?
Very simple way of just making life so much better. Where am I living? Am I living?
And how can you switch over between, if you are in the head to the heart? How would you recommend doing that?
There's some the simplest way is when I'm sitting down at my desk and I'm just sort of doing some budget work, and what's happening with my energy. And you're an energy person, so you understand that. So if my energy is like, I'm bored. Why do I have to do this budget? I'm fed up. When am I going to fit? Oh my God, I got a deadline. It's all that. And just to sit back and say, hold on a minute. Do I want to be in that energy? Do I want to be contracted and upset and all that kind of thing? And just take a breath. And literally take your attention energetically from your head back into your heart. How can I make it more interesting writing a budget? Could I go for a walk first? What would my spirit love to do now? How can we make this interesting? How can we make it fun? Let's do this differently. I mean, who wants to live like this? Who wants to live like that? Come on, let's live like this. Let's live. All this energy work. Let's live.
Yeah, I think another practical way of doing it could be to just put on your favorite song and dance around the kitchen for 5 minutes, and then just go in with a new mindset, and then go and sit down and do this boring thing, or get into nature. Just go and do something. When you're feeling irritated by whatever the next job is, do something to break your mind out of it, and then go in there fresh. I mean, another thing that I do, if I've got something difficult, Joe Rogan talks about this, it's do the hardest thing at the beginning of the day. Whatever it is, that thing that you don't want to blooming well do. And then I know that, if you're tired, you can just end up running out of bandwidth for things. And so you don't want to be taking on something complicated towards the end of the day or after lunch. If you just go and do that complicated thing as your first task, then it's done. And then you can have the easier tasks as the day proceeds. I think really starting doing the difficult ones makes my life easier anyway, for sure.
Yeah.
Simple.
That's brilliant. Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Fiona, for joining me again. And yes, if anyone wants to get in touch, please look Fiona up. And your website is
www.fionaradman.com.
FionaRadman.com. And yes, it's on here as well. Website FionaRadman.com to find out about any of our upcoming courses or to book her in for a session. And yes, thank you very much for coloring our lives today. Thank you, my darling.
Thank you for coming back. I've enjoyed our second session so much.
Thank you, sweetie. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you. Bye.